All right, ready to dive in?
I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about Dakota Franson's latest book, Rise of the Valkyrie.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's the culmination of a series,
It is.
an anthology series,
Bro.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
But to really get into it, we need to kind of rewind a bit first.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, Franson, he's great at building on what he's already established. You know, it's not just like a continuation. It's like this whole evolution of everything.
It really is. The characters, the conflicts, even like the whole fabric of his multiversal world.
Exactly. So think of this as a crash course, right? Like
Yeah.
for anyone new to this whole thing, book one, A Giant's Curse.
Right.
That's our intro to Dakota, right?
Yeah.
He's this paranormal investigator. Seems pretty normal at first.
Yeah.
But there are like these little hints right from the start.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
there's something more going on.
Yeah, like he's not your typical ghost hunter, that's for sure.
Right. And there's this mysterious figure, too. He kind of mimics it. And that's something Franson just keeps weaving throughout the series.
Oh, it's like he's planting seeds, and they keep blossoming in these ways you wouldn't expect.
Totally agree. It keeps you guessing the whole time.
Oh, yeah. You're constantly like, wait, what do I really know about Dakota? What about his powers? And all these forces at play.
Yeah. And it gets even more interesting in book two.
War of the Universe, right?
That's the one. We get the pings.
Oh, those are wild.
They are. They're like these frequencies, but they're warning us
About the war.
about the war, a multiversal war. This isn't just like ghosts in a haunted house anymore.
It's huge. We've got government agencies. We've got extraterrestrial beings. It's like, whoa.
The stakes are just like through the roof, you know?
Yeah. And you really see Dakota having to deal with stuff that could, like, wipe out entire realities.
It makes you think, are any of us actually in control?
The question, isn't it?
And then Lover's Cry throws Shandra into the mix.
She changes everything, doesn't she?
She does. It's not just a love story, though. Their relationship.
No, it's way more than that.
Yeah, it's tied to the whole conflict, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She almost dies, and there's so much mystery around her past.
Like her connection to the Valkyrie?
Could she be a reincarnation?
Maybe. We're not sure yet.
It adds so much intrigue, though.
Oh, for sure. And Shandra, she really pushes Dakota,
Yeah.
She challenges him to understand his powers, to really face his inner stuff.
To confront those demons.
Yeah, exactly. And the Valkyrie connection, it just brings this whole other mythological level to the story.
It's like everything's been leading up to Book 4, Rise of the Valkyrie.
That's where it all explodes, doesn't it?
It does. Let's talk about Dakota's powers for a second.
Okay, yeah. They're not just like cool tricks, they raise some serious questions.
Right. Like his healing, I mean, it makes you wonder if he could do even more than just fix wounds.
It's like, could he actually cheat death?
Wow.
That's a big one, isn't it? What would that mean for him? For everyone?
And his visions, too. They go from these little glimpses to full-blown experiences, you know?
Yeah, and he's seeing across time now, too.
He's unraveling mysteries.
It's wild. Imagine being able to see not just the future, but the past, too.
Right. And then you have his, like, alter egos, the Shadow and Light Hunters.
Those are getting more and more prominent.
And in Rise of the Valkyrie, it's clear they're not just in his head.
Right. It's like they represent these two sides of him,
Yeah.
The light and the darkness.
It's almost like he's battling himself while fighting this external cosmic threat.
It's like he's trying to figure out who he is, to integrate all these parts of himself.
Yeah, and the conflict in Rise of the Valkyrie.
Oh, man.
It's on a whole other level.
It's not just hauntings anymore. It's a full-blown multiversal war.
And the way Franson gets us there, it's brilliant. The pings are tied to the moon, right?
Right. And Chandra's insight helps us understand it.
It's like everything's connected, even the celestial bodies. They're part of this cosmic drama. And speaking of Shandra, the mystery around her just keeps getting deeper.
Oh, yeah. Is she really a reincarnation of the Valkyrie?
Does she have powers we haven't seen yet?
And then there's her father. He's alive.
I know. That threw me for a loop.
And he's connected to the government.
It's like the universe is testing them, pushing them to their limits.
For sure. And then we meet the Vergabritus.
The antagonists, right?
Yeah, and they're behind the pings.
Their agenda is pretty intense.
Yeah, pretty destructive, you could say.
But there's this depth to them, Makes you wonder if they're really evil or just...
victims of their own circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as simple as it seems.
It never is it?
So we've got Dakota, Shandra, this war that's about to, like, tear everything apart.
It's a lot.
And then, to fight the Vergabritus, we've got Ashtar Command.
The cosmic peacekeepers.
And the Azer.
The Norse gods.
It's epic. Like, the fate of multiple universes is at stake.
And Franson manages to tie all these mythologies together.
Yeah. It's seamless. It's like he's saying everything's connected, you know?
The boundaries between our world and these other realms, they're way more blurry than we think.
That's a good place to stop for now.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll pick this back up in part 2.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Okay, so we left off with this whole multiversal war brewing.
Yeah, universe is hanging in the balance.
But it's not just about the big picture, right?
Oh, it's about the people caught in it.
Exactly. It's about how they change, how they grow.
And Dakota, he's a prime example.
He starts as this, like, normal paranormal investigator, right? And then suddenly he's dealing with powers that could, like, reshape reality.
It's a lot to handle.
It is. And Franson does a great job of showing us the struggle.
Oh, yeah, like the mental and ethical dilemmas.
Right. Like when Shandra gets hurt.
That scene, man.
I know, it's intense.
His first instinct is revenge.
You see this raw emotion, you know, the rage, the grief.
He could easily lose himself in that.
But he doesn't. He chooses to heal instead.
It's a huge turning point for him.
Yeah, it shows us that he's not perfect, you know.
He's not some superhero who always knows the right answer.
He's human. He makes mistakes. He's tempted by the darkness.
And Shandra, she's got her own journey too.
Yeah, she starts off needing protection, but she becomes so much stronger.
Independent.
Yeah, she's searching for answers about her past, about the Valkyrie.
Remember how she reacted at first?
When she found out about the Valkyrie connection.
Yeah, scared, confused.
Almost like she was in denial.
But she confronts it, you know?
She realizes she can't run from who she is.
And then her dad comes back.
Alive.
After all this time.
It throws everything off.
It really does.
Imagine finding out your dad's not only alive, but he's mixed up with the government.
The same government that's been keeping secrets.
Yeah, talk about a messed up family reunion.
It makes Shandra question everything she thought she knew.
It's like her personal journey mirrors the whole conflict, you know?
Yeah, she's discovering herself while the universe is falling apart.
It's pretty heavy stuff.
It is. But one thing that stays strong through all of it is their relationship.
Dakota and Shandra.
Yeah, their love for each other, it's like an anchor.
In the middle of all this chaos.
Exactly. It's what they're fighting for, you know?
It gives you hope that love can survive anything.
And it's not just romantic love, either.
Right, there's friendship, too.
Like Jerry, the cop.
Yeah, he's just a normal guy.
But he chooses to help them, even though it's dangerous.
It shows the power of human connection, you know?
Like, even when the world's ending, we can still choose to be there for each other.
And Jessica and Brianna, they're there for Shandra, too.
They believe in Dakota, even when everyone else thinks he's a murderer.
It's true friendship right there.
Loyalty, sticking by your friends no matter what.
It makes you think, though, with Dakota's visions.
The ones that show the conflict happening over and over again.
Yeah, does that mean they don't have a choice?
Like, is everything predetermined?
It's a tough question.
It is. It makes you wonder if our choices even matter.
If it's all going to play out the same way anyway?
Franson doesn't give us an easy answer.
He makes us think.
He shows us this cyclical conflict, this repeating pattern.
But the characters still make choices.
And those choices have consequences, even if the ending stays the same.
So maybe it's not about changing the outcome.
Maybe it's about how we choose to experience it, you know?
Like the journey still matters.
Exactly. It's like a play.
Okay.
The actors know the ending,
Right.
but they still have to decide how to play their parts.
Like to deliver their lines.
And those choices affect the whole performance, even if the final curtain is always the same.
That's deep.
It is. But it's also kind of hopeful. It
Yeah.
means we still have agency, you know?
Even within a predetermined framework.
We can shape our own experiences.
I like that.
And that's what Franson seems to be saying. It's not about whether we can change the big picture.
But about how we choose to live our lives within it.
And those choices, even the small ones,
They matter.
they add up.
They make us who we are. So we've talked about their journeys, their choices, the crazy forces they're up against.
But Franson doesn't let us off easy, does he?
No, he throws in some seriously big questions like, what even is good versus evil in a situation like this?
It's not so clear-cut when you've got multiple universes colliding.
Right. Like the Vergobritis.
Big bad guys, yeah.
But their whole motivation is about loss, about trying to get their children back.
It makes you think, you know.
It does. It makes you wonder, what would any of us do in that situation?
How far would we go to save someone we love?
When does grief turn into something, like, monstrous?
It's a scary thought.
And it's not just them, right?
No, Dakota struggles with that darkness, too.
Yeah, he almost goes down that revenge path.
That inner battle is always there.
Like, none of us are immune to that pull, you know?
Especially when we're hurting.
Right. It's like Franson saying everyone has that potential for darkness.
It's what makes them feel so real, I think. Even in this crazy cosmic setting.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole free will versus destiny thing.
That's a big one.
Dakota's visions, they show this conflict happening again and again.
The same outcome every time.
So do they even have a choice?
It's like, what's the point of trying if it's already decided?
Franson, he doesn't give us a straight answer.
But he makes us think about it, you know?
Makes us question everything.
He shows us this cycle, this repeating pattern.
But within that, the characters still make choices.
And those choices, they matter.
Even if the ending's the same.
Think of it like this. A record playing the same song.
Okay.
The song itself doesn't change.
Yeah.
But how you listen to it, how it makes you feel, that's different for everyone.
So it's like the grand plan might be set, but our experience within it is still unique.
Exactly. It's not about changing the song. It's about finding your own way to dance to it.
I like that.
And that ties into another big theme. Love and sacrifice.
Dakota and Shandra, their love is so strong.
It's what keeps them going.
Yeah, they'd sacrifice anything for each other.
It's a powerful thing to see.
Like, even when the universe is falling apart, love can still exist.
And it's not just them. Jerry, Jessica, Brianna,
They all make sacrifices.
they show us that human connection, it matters, even in the face of all this chaos.
Yeah, like, we don't have to go through it alone.
Even small acts of kindness, they can make a difference.
So Franson leaves us with this image, right?
A universe caught in this endless loop.
But within that loop, people are still choosing to love, to fight for what they believe in.
It's kind of bittersweet, you know?
It is, but it's also hopeful.
It means our choices matter, even if the big picture stays the same.
What about Dakota and Shandra, though?
That ending.
I know, so many questions.
Where will they go? What about Olivia?
Can they break the cycle?
Or are they stuck in it forever?
Franson definitely knows how to keep us wanting more.
But I think that's part of what makes him so good.
Yeah, he makes us think, makes us imagine what could happen next.
He doesn't give us all the answers. He lets us come up with our own theories.
So if you're looking for a story that'll take you on a wild ride
Make you question everything you thought you knew.
and leave you thinking about it long after you're done reading,
Then check out Dakota Franson's work.
you won't be disappointed.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Rise of the Valkyrie.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep